Yo, yo, yo! Always a yo, yo, yo. That's how we start things off. We're getting the UDF out of here because they don't sponsor the show, because no one sponsors this show. Not even Game Time. Game Time doesn't even get on the box lunch. How's it going, guys? Listen, I'll be honest. Forward thinking here. I saved some topics. You see the J bar over here. The things that I actually want to talk about, I'm saving for this week. The football stuff, some of the baseball things, because me and Casey, we've got 8 hours to fill for the rest of this week. So we gotta pace ourselves, right? If you've ever ran in a race, 5K, 10K, half marathon, full marathon, you don't hear that gun blow and then just sprint, right? You gotta pace yourself, take your time, and that's what we're gonna do today here on Box Lunch.
Have you guys thought about doing a 10 to 11 show? Has that come into play yet? Are you gonna muscle through it? You're just gonna muscle through it.
We're doing my best. If I'm being sincere, I don't think 2 hours is all that hard to get through. That might come back to bite me. That might come back to bite me because there's only going to be two voices in the room. But I don't think 2 hours is too hard to get through.
That's your call. I was just asking. I was asking if there was a plan.
I appreciate you asking it.
I mean, it's as simple as me and Reed planning for 1 hour each. It's simple as that. And then
one day we're going to do a full expose into Sean Connor, I think.
Yes.
A full expose into Sean Connor. Kirby,
I've
never had a chance. Kirby's still here.
Oh.
His hand's just waving. Kirby.
Oh, no.
There was Sean Connor in the chat today, but he is not. I don't think he is it. He's still at the
unless
top
I'm
of the
mind
list.
reading my YouTube chats.
We actually had a new person that creeped on the list of who we think Sean Connor is, and he's skyrocketed up the list.
Yeah.
Kirby has been in my top 3 for a long time. He's still in that top 3, but he went down from 2 to 3 today. Actually, from 1 to 3 today, just because he was answering. But you want to? I mean, I'm not going to interrogate you, but do you want to say any words about you being Sean Connor or the insinuation that you are Sean Connor? Because our chat thinks you're Sean Connor.
I just don't believe you guys think I'm that dedicated to this.
That's crazy. Because I think it's very clearly you, but that's okay. I'm not going to fight you on it. I think what I think we've come to establish here is that
I'm going to hold my hands up the entire show.
No. You don't have to do that because
the entire show.
Because you're working with somebody else, and I think that's very clear.
It is. I'll be honest. Elliot used to have that conspiracy, and once again, we're gonna do this whole Sean Connor thing at some point later in this week. But Elliot had the conspiracy that it's a multiple person front. Like
I think it has
there's
to be
multiple Sean
agree.
Connors. I didn't believe that until recently. A couple of days ago, someone was in the chat, and it seemed like Trace Fowler.
What if it's our entire chat against us?
That'd
what
be
if it's
great.
like 10 people that have conspired?
And they just want my brain to eat alive? Because Sean Connor is a parasite in my brain that just nibbles. You look good in Cubby Blue, by the way. You look really good in Cubs Blue. Sean Connor, thank you for pointing that out. But you are not. You were saying definitively that you are not Sean Connor on this show.
I'm not Sean Connor.
Sean says you're a rising star in the industry.
Thank you, Sean. Wow.
So I guess you complimented yourself.
Do you want to get in on the speculation of who is Sean Connor? Do you want to throw someone's name out there live on air?
I don't want to throw that person's name because
I texted you about it last
I'm not familiar with that person outside of some social interactions.
Please say their name. It'll go great for you.
This is not the HBO
It'll go
show.
real good for you if you throw that name out there. Please
We're not going to do that today. Yeah. We're not going to do that.
I'd like to keep my pretty face.
Reed will do that this week.
Yes, we will. We will. Listen, I thought it'd be funny if I did you ever watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yes.
Where he has the male conspiracy. He's like, Carol, Pepe Sylvia. I would love to just go crazy and have like a big cork board of everything up here. But we'll get to that later in the week. See, I'm teasing. I'm teasing off the bench later in the week. We'll do that at some point. Elly Roo, you almost were held up at gunpoint on Saturday nights.
I texted Casey and Reed, and I was texting with a couple of my other buddies. I'm like, what am I going to do tonight? Saturday night. I don't really have anything to do. Let's just go up to Hollywood Casino. Let's have some fun. So I was about probably 5 minutes away from leaving. 5 minutes. And I got a text from one of my friends, Nick Harris. And Nick sends me a text, and he says, active shooter at Hollywood. As I'm about to leave my house. I'm like, what the hell? Is this a joke? This is a terrible joke if it's a joke. And I get on Twitter, and I look, and I see the report. There's an active shooter at Hollywood. I'm like, okay, thank God I didn't go to that. Let's sit down and let's follow it. Over the next 5 minutes, you find out that this guy had a hostage. And basically the story is he came into the casino, and if you've been to Hollywood,
There's that long walkway into the casino.
long walkway into the casino, and you keep walking back, and in the middle of the actual casino part, you have the window, or the cage as they call it.
Yeah.
And that's where you cash your tickets, get your bets. A guy apparently got to that point, held a gun up, and said, give me all your money, as one does in an armed robbery. So he got his way to the back, or the inside of the cage, and then held, I guess, one of the workers that were in there hostage and said, I'm not going to let this guy go until you give me all your money. I don't know what happened in between that and what happened immediately following, but basically he then decided to run directly into the woods surrounding Hollywood Casino. They had a helicopter chase him, they had a drone chase him, and they found him and arrested him in the woods. So nobody got hurt, to my knowledge. Nobody died, but there was a panic obviously there. I saw a couple of videos where people were just running out and losing their minds because there's an active shooter in the casino. Some people, I think, went to the basement. Some people went, I guess, under like tables, under blackjack tables. But then the interesting part of the story that I don't think a lot of people talked about, when they were leaving in their cars, they wouldn't let anybody leave because it became then a manhunt for this guy who then went to the woods. So now
they closed out the exits.
So they're checking cars to make sure this guy's not holding anybody else up at gunpoint. So it was a crazy story. Thank God I didn't go. I think there were a couple of people. I think Big C said something on Twitter. Ricky said he was about to go. That's just preposterous, man, how in 2024 this stuff happens every day. Every day.
What if the casino said, listen, armed robbery, you're going to get 5 years in prison. Step on up to the craps table. You roll snake eyes or box cards. You get 1 or 12. 1 or 2 or 12. You're free to go with the money. If you don't get it, one roll. If you don't get it, you're going to jail. You're going to prison. They just walked the guy back in the casino and said, hey, what's the largest roll you've ever had? You either get 10 grand in that bag that you brought in here, or you're going to prison for 5 years. Roll the dice, big guy. Roll the dice, big fella.
I think you'd do it.
What a publicity stunt that would be. I mean, in all honesty, like when do we get like metal detectors and stuff like that?
How is it not a thing before? I mean, if you've been to Hollywood,
yeah, I'm just thinking about it.
If you've been into Hollywood, like you think it's good security because they like if you wear a hat in there, they make you tilt the head up and you got to look at the eye in the sky. So you're like, okay, maybe they got some security, but you can sneak. I mean, you could go in there with anything. I mean, there's no security at all once you walk out of the parking lot in there. So clearly, there's going to be some upgrades to that security. You're gonna have to massively overhaul it.
Can Hollywood afford it after you just completely bankrupt it? Like
a lot of people are saying that. A lot of people are asking those questions. They're gonna need the funds after I'm 1 hour in on a blackjack table. But
when you sent that text, my wife was actually down at the other casino in downtown Cincinnati.
Really?
Yeah, at the exact same time. You sent that text, and like my brain like freaked out for a second. Then I actually read the text and just said Hollywood Casino. I was like, oh, she's not at that casino. But I'm sure.
I just don't get it, man. What possesses people to have a gun and go in and scare people like that? Why?
What would
You got to have better things to do on a Saturday night. You have to have better things to do.
Xavier and Georgetown were playing.
Well, maybe not
I didn't watch
that.
a second of that one.
Maybe not that. That's probably why he walked in there. He watched the first half of that game and saw enough.
Oh God.
Listen. Sorry for the joke. Here's the thing. Anybody who does that, you are a very bad person, and honest to God, you shouldn't like walk outside of a jail cell ever. If you go in there with the express intent to hurt and make a hostage situation and try to rob people, not good for you, buddy. Go to jail forever.
How much money would you have to gamble? Because there's a price for a year in prison. Would you gamble? Like if someone's like $10 million on a hand of blackjack, you lose, you go to prison for a year.
Do it. Oh yeah.
Okay, so like, what's the price?
So
for 1 year in prison, one hand of blackjack,
$1 million.
$1 mil.
$1 mil.
You want to do it for like $750?
No, $1 mil. $1 mil is the number.
1 year of being in jail, it's on your record forever. Like,
well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you go to a
pretty
job
explainable.
Interview. Yeah, you go to a job interview. It's like, hey, I was offered $1 million or a year in prison. Like,
You can also invest that $1 million pretty well.
It says the felonious activity was like gambled too hard or something like that.
I think I would have easily taken that pre-kids. It would be. I don't think you could do it once
you can't
you have
do
kids,
it
though. Yeah. Kind of
I-
kids ruin everything.
I can't speak on that, but I will say, like, if you offered me that deal, I'd take it in a heartbeat. I think what also they said in one of the news stories, is that the casino was operating business as usual, like a half hour after it happened. So not everybody could leave, the manhunt and stuff like that. So then the people who I think this is how I read it. This could be completely wrong.
They just started playing.
The people who survived the attack then just went right back to the tables, right back to it.
Got to make up for that lost half hour.
I mean, could you imagine the thrill of surviving a gunman and then going back up and experience a whole different type of thrill? Can you beat the blackjack table? Can you beat it? And that's what these people were doing. So shout out to everybody at Hollywood.
Could you imagine losing a lot of money on Saturday night? That would
No.
be a really tough experience.
Why don't I take it from here?
Yeah.
And then but I agree. I think, listen, hopefully the casino did a good thing with everybody there and maybe like boosted the odds and everything a little bit. Like maybe they got into they set the little algorithm to this is preposterous. I mean, this is just sorry. This freak.
Whoa!
I didn't say it.
I
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
Is that a streak of consecutive days?
I didn't say it. I want everybody to be clear. I didn't say it. I did not say it. I don't even know what I was going to say now. I lost it.
Well,
but anyway, hopefully they boosted the odds. Hopefully people that survived the gun attack were able to walk away with some winnings.
I've been to the Hollywood Casino during a massive storm.
Yeah.
Last spring. I was there. It was like 3 a.m. and a storm came through and shut off. It kicked off power in the casino. All the lights went off immediately. The generators kicked on, but they wouldn't let you play. Like, we were just aimlessly looking at each other in the casino while the lights were off and like the floodlights were on, so it was dimly lit. And they wouldn't let us play till the power kicked back on. But that was scary. That was the weirdest thing I've ever been in a casino.
Oh yeah. Did you watch? By the way, not to go ahead, Casey. Sorry.
I was gonna say, just to add on this conversation, if you believe that casinos are like rigged in any way that they can like
Cincinnati Casino.
harm or make your odds better throughout the night or the whatever.
Oh, I know they can. I absolutely know they can.
Do you think Hollywood Casino bumps up even more? Because it's
think-
already pretty friendly.
I think Hollywood's
at
pretty
least in our
friendly,
opinion.
but I think there's absolutely a way to do it.
Wouldn't
Where
it be
you-
fun if they just had like a little dial in the room up top
like-
and they're like, gamble or lose? Like, it's like, turn it up. Crank it up to 11. We want to get their money tonight. I swear to God, the Cincinnati Casino rigs you a little bit.
You don't win money at the tables there. You don't win money at the Hard Rock Casino. You don't do it.
Correct. We talked enough about your guys' road trip. I put this on the J Bar. Boss came to me at 10. He's like, hey, you ready to go at 11? I said, sure. Whatever you need. But you guys talked about the road trip. Elliot, I am concerned for you.
Sure, I'd be concerned if I was.
Kirby, I'm not concerned for you at all. You'll make it all right.
He's gonna live in
You'll be
luxury.
okay. You'll be fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The van, I will say, there's 4 really good.
It's not a smooth ride.
There's 4 really good seats. The 5th seat is like the middle, so it's the pretty big van. But you have the front 2 seats, which are very spacious, plenty of room. You have the back 2 seats by the table, which you can lay out there. That can be comfortable if you
can lay.
So you can be
You can fit
comfortable.
multiple people there, yeah.
But you have the middle seat, and if there's
Middle seat stinks.
the middle seat's not very fun. The middle seat is not very fun, and I imagine that's where Nick will be at least to start the trip, or me. It'll be Nick or me to start the trip. We also haven't discussed driving shifts yet. I think that was probably important to discuss at some point.
Listen, driving, I've made the trip out to Kansas multiple times. My brother lives in Wichita, and that's where you guys are going first. The drive from Ohio to Kansas is okay. It's long, but you're pretty much going through civilization, except for Indiana. Indiana's pretty bare bones, but you go through Illinois, you go through Missouri, you go through Ohio, all pretty much you're passing through towns, you're seeing stops, fast food places, if you need a bite to eat, gas. Once you leave Lawrence, Kansas, and your drive to Denver, Colorado, that'll be miserable. I've driven from Kansas City to Wichita, which is a 3.5-hour drive. You do not pass towns. No. I don't know if you guys have ever driven out in places that aren't heavily populated, but what they do, instead of having exits, like where you get off and you coming up here is Westchester. I get off here and there's all the things to see in Westchester. And even smaller towns where you can go there's fast food restaurants, there's gas stations. What they do, because there are no towns across Kansas, is in the middle of the highway, they put a single gas station and a single fast food restaurant. So, like, you're not getting off to a town. You're getting off the exit just to get gas, and it'll tell you, like, this is the last gas station for 50 miles. This is the last place to get some food for 50 miles, which isn't that far. It's an hour of driving, but it's just crazy that you will not pass a single town. Even if you go up in northwestern Ohio where I used to live, you would still see these little towns here and there, population 4,000, like Bluffton, Ohio, that have stuff to do in the town. You don't see that in Kansas. Literally, you are just driving on the highway. You see the rolling hills of the Great Plains, and that's it. And then you'll pass through, like, Manhattan, Kansas at one point and go see K-State.
We went to Denver, drove out for my dad's 50th birthday. So, actually, the very first time I ever drove on the expressway was in Colorado. My parents felt confident enough to have me drive where there's literally nothing.
Right. You have not been on a plane since 2007?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think I've only gone twice in my entire life.
So, like, when you go up to Fenway, when you go up to, like, Colorado, like you said, you drive.
Drove, yeah.
Is it a fear of flying?
No, I would rather, like, see stuff. Now, if I was going out to Denver again, just to Denver, I would think I would fly for that.
Right.
Because I have experienced that. No, I love seeing, like, sights and stuff. That's something I'm just really excited about is, like, I've been kind of looking at the drive from Denver down to Phoenix. I'm just so excited to see, like, just different stuff that I've never, saw before.
It'll be
our honeymoon. We drove up to Maine. Drove to Maine, went through Vermont and Burlington, and just did a whole road trip of it.
Who's the writer that is always writing things in Maine? It's the horror writer. What's his name?
Stephen King?
Stephen King. Yeah, every single book of his featured in Maine.
You are right. Pennywise is in Maine.
Almost
You're
every
right.
single book he writes is featured in Maine. But yeah, that don't read it. Don't read it. There's a weird scene when you read it. All right, let's get into sports. And yesterday we got through kind of this clarity of fog. We've been talking about this for a while. Why haven't we heard news about Joe Burrow's injury? Right? We know he had the surgery. We know when he got hurt in November and he had surgery quickly after. But they never gave us a timeline. And just last week, we see the video of him dapping up LeBron James at the Phoenix Lakers game. And he's using his left hand, not his right hand, because that's the one that's hurt. And we're like, dude, is he going to be – like, what the hell's going on here? What the heck's going on? But finally, yesterday, you get the push notification. Ben Baby, I think, sat down with Joe Burrow, and we found out that he should be cleared. Everything's going well. He should be cleared to May. And this is why this is important. Because I think I convinced myself after pretty much no clarity whatsoever. Right when the injury happened, we were like, all right, he's going to miss the rest of the year, but he'll be back quickly after that. And then you heard some disparaging things, the timeline, and then they just never gave you a timeline. We're like, is he going to be fine for the first week of practice? Like OTAs, training camp, all these things. Is he going to be ready for preseason game number 1? Reminder, this is the big talk that we've always had about Joe Burrow. Is he going to be okay? Is he going to have a full preseason? That's what Bengals fans, above all else, behind maybe a very good line, would like just Joe Burrow to have a normal preseason. And you started getting in your mind, like, why aren't they telling us? No, I don't think he's going to get one. I think he's going to be sitting out for a couple of weeks in training camp. But yesterday, we get the push notification. We hear the news that Joe Burrow will be fine by May. And this is so important because he's not going to have to rush himself. If he was cleared to go in July, then he's rushing himself, right? He's rushing to get back. He's got to ramp it up. He's cleared, good to go. He's got to ramp it up before the season starts. But from the window of late May, you get 3 months before the season starts. You get 2 months before the first preseason game. You get a month and a half before training camp opens up. That is plenty of time to him getting ramped up and ready to go. And fingers crossed, we get the first ever preseason with Joe Burrow fully healthy. Joe Burrow having a normal preseason, which is what everyone has wanted. Casey?
Yeah.
Give me your initial reaction when you saw the report about this.
So it made me very happy to know that not only is he ready for contact in May, but he's already ready to start lifting again. So he's going to not only be contact ready, but he's going to be in shape. He's going to be ready to go fully by the time training camp starts, which is great. Something to note about this, though, one of the Twitter doctors is how I'll describe it. Got a lot of
If you're gonna get medical advice, it should be strictly from the internet.
Oh, for sure. And his name's Jesse Morse. He initially said, like, when the initial injury happened, excuse me, that it wasn't going to be a big deal. After that report came out, he redid the initial post. This was at 6:46 yesterday.
Yeah.
And basically came out saying that Joe Burrow would never be the same again. Did you see this?
So he's doubling down.
He initially said that it would all be fine. And then he came out yesterday, and this is a guy that people trust apparently for like fantasy sports advice. Anyways, he said that Joe Burrow would never be the same again, would only have 80% normal strength and range of motion in his wrist, wouldn't be able to do the thrower dart motion, some stupid shit. Oops, not allowed to cuss.
Not allowed to cuss.
Anyways, yeah, I thought that was really weird that now we're getting Twitter doctors giving conflicting reports about.
Like I said, if there's any place that where you should get medical advice, it should strictly be from doctors or so-called doctors on the internet. 80% of Joe Burrow isn't ideal. It's still a pretty damn good quarterback. Still a pretty good quarterback. I'm not worried about what Joe Morris or whoever this guy says. Not worried about it. I'll take what Ben Baby. I'll take what Joe Burrow says, and we'll see. If in week 4, it's pretty evident that it's not the same guy, then I'll be concerned. But I'm not gonna stand on the edge of the bridge just because some Twitter doctor said you should be worried. I'm not gonna do that.
Will the concern be worse than this year if we find out like week 3? Like week 3 this year, we're like, all right, this guy's just not healthy. I mean, he's just not healthy. He's saying he's healthy. He's not healthy. We're watching him play football, and it's not good. If he comes out again this year and it's the same problem, what's that concern going to be?
It's incredibly high because we talked about this. Casey doesn't like when we call Joe Burrow injury prone, but to this point in his career, that's exactly what he is. I hate to say it, biggest Joe Burrow guy right here, but he is injury prone. There are injury considerations. He's played 4 years in the league. He's missed two halves of a year. He's missed every training camp for some weird reason. So if he's hurt again, if he's not 100% and you can tell he's not healthy, then yes, you have cause for concern. Extreme cause for concern. As I say that Joe Burrow is injury prone, just like other guys that have had that moniker, you can do something. If you play for 4 years without getting hurt, you take it back. Right? You change what you think of a man, what you think of an athlete, based on what he does. When a guy is a scrub athlete, when a guy is Jose Bautista in baseball, played 10 years in the league, hit 53 home runs in those first 10 years. Year 11 hits 54 home runs. You didn't think Jose Bautista before opening day was a home run hitter, and then he has 2 years for the Blue Jays. This is a guy who's a home run hitter. Joe Burrow, to this point in his career, yes, has injury problems. There's health problems. But if he goes 4 years and it makes every start, then you kick those to the side and you don't think that anymore. So he has every opportunity to change that opinion of him. But yeah, if he's hurt again, week 3 doesn't look fully there, then yeah, you should be worried. Absolutely should be worried. There's no hiding behind it at that point. It's true. It's there. It's evidence. I don't know. All right. Rule changes. You guys talked about this a little bit on the show. And I don't know if I've ever made this point when it comes to rule changes across sports. But almost unanimously, I am pro rule changes. Not a single one in my lifetime has drastically hurt the sport. Not a single one. Think about it. Every single rule that has changed a sport has probably been for the better. You talk about baseball. Oh, we fought about the DH forever. We're here in what, year 3, Kirby, of DH in the National League? Have you even remembered? Have you
I don't
completely
even remember a time without it. Like it
Right,
feels
it's
so foreign at this point.
Right. It's just part of the game. It's just a part of the game now. Pitch clocks before last year. Oh my God. Why do we need to speed up the game? People that love baseball. Keep it how it is. About a week into pitch clocks, and we're like, oh, this is much better. This is incredible. Other rule changes. The big bags, right? They increase the bags, and you can't pick off. Those are dumb rules. Why are you implementing that to baseball? About a month in, you're like, all right, guys are stealing bases. This is a lot more fun. Ronald Acuna had 70 stolen bases last year. It's the last time we saw that. More base runners than ever have stolen 40 bases. It's for the better. Football. You guys don't know this, but some of the older people that watch the show remember this. 30 years ago, there was a push. The NFL wants to implement instant replay. We've got cameras. Why don't we use instant replay to get these calls right? And people were going like, why do we need replay? Just have them call it on the field. Human error is okay. That's how we want it. That's how we like it. Can you imagine watching a football game without replay? Oh, they're not going to return the kicks anymore. They're trying to keep it to where there's no wedges and all the dangerous stuff of kicks. Yeah, you forgot about that pretty quickly. And similar to now, when they're changing it back to how they want kick returns, you'll forget about it very quickly. Listen, people hate change. Will always hate change. It's just the way it is. It's shocking. It's changing your worldview. Every rule change of my life has been pushed. And almost universally, they have worked. Now, the big one in baseball that hasn't gotten there yet, or that hasn't gotten to the postseason yet, is the Manfred runner. Ghost runner on second. I love this rule. Now, this is the most divisive one, I think, out of them all, because people are like, this is so dumb. Extra innings are kind of boring before that. I've left games at Great American Ballpark in the 13th inning because I'm like, dude, this is inning 4 of extra innings, and there's been 2 base runners. What the hell are we doing? Elliot?
I'd like to tune into this one because I agree with you. I think it's 100%. I think
Bring
it
it into the postseason too.
And then your argument is, well, it changes the integrity of the game. Is the integrity of the game any better when we get to the 17th inning and Wilson Valdez is coming in to pitch against the Reds in Philadelphia? Is that like when we get the shortstops out there pitching because we can't burn all of our arms tonight? Mm-hmm. That's when you say the integrity of the game? Like, I don't buy it. I think it makes the game way more fun. It puts the pressure on, obviously. It gives a major advantage to the team at the top half of the inning. I guess it would be the home team, I should say.
The home team gets an advantage. Yes.
The home team. But yeah, I think that rule should be implemented very soon. I think that rule rocks.
To the postseason.
Postseason.
Yeah. So that's the point, because now they're talking about these things in football. And the big one that you brought up that they are the competition committee is trying to push, and you saw the ones about the kickoff. I think it'll be fine. I know they're weird rules now, but the kickoffs will be fine. But the big one that I've pushed for in the NFL now for years is we've got to do something about the onside kick. The onside kick is so hard to recover that it's basically a non-factor. Think about this. You're watching the Bengals play, and the opposing team, you have a 2-score lead. The opposing team scores. You don't sweat the onside kick at all. I don't. I never sweat the onside kick. And when my team's trying to receive the onside kick, I don't get excited. I think the game's over because they recover, I think, under 1 in 20 onside kicks. There's normally about 2 that get recovered a year. So these foreign football leagues, UFL, USFL, not foreign, but different leagues, have implemented this rule where they go like, hey, you can, instead of onside kicking it, we'll go 4th and 15. You get 1 shot. Can you get 15 yards? Infinitely better. Now the odds are still what? 1 in 10 at the best? Like, the odds are
not good, yeah.
Not great, but you at least got a shot. You at least got some semblance. That gets, as a team that's in the lead, that'll get your heart pumping. As a team that's getting ready that's trying to score, that'll get your heart pumping as you try to make it back. And how exciting will it be if you're 4 if you're trying to get that first down, and you get it. And you can start them back on the 10 if you want to. I don't care. Make them go the length of the field. But just give them some shot. And I understand fully, as a Bengals fan, that if they implement this rule, that the first time it rears its head, it'll be a negative against the Bengals, and I'm okay with that. Because like I've said, every proposition, every rule change that I've seen in my lifetime has been for the better. And the one that hasn't, there's one, you might remember this, when they could review in the NFL, when they could review pass interferences, what'd they do? Tried it for a year. All right, see you later. Rules no good anymore. So all I'm saying to you guys is, don't do the knee-jerk thing when any sport proposes new rules, which is, why do you got to change the game? Why are you changing what I love? Don't do that. Because for the most part, 95% of the time, it's going to get better. The sport, they're not just spitballing ideas.
Yeah.
They're normally tested. They normally try them. Other leagues have done it, and it's for the better.
Rule changes aren't meant to be viewed as them trying to make the game worse. They're always trying to make the game better. That is what they're trying to do. And most of the time, they're very successful in doing so.
The onside kick rule specifically, I just wanted to throw in some stats in there for you. There were 5.3% of onside kicks were recovered this year. I believe they were there was 3 onside kicks that were recovered in the NFL this year. Last year, same deal. 3 of 56, 5.3%. The year before that, 9 of 56. That's 16%. The year before that, 3 of 67, 4%. Year before that, 8 of 62, 12%. But that year specifically is interesting because out of those 8, 3 were in the very same game. The Falcons recovered 3 consecutive onside kicks in a row. No, I mean, I get it. It's supposed to be a Hail Mary. It's supposed to be a long shot, but it's not supposed to be impossible. It's not supposed to be impossible. 5% is impossible. So I think, again, if you're going to fix one rule in the NFL specifically, I agree with Reed. The onside kick needs to be changed.
Kirby, are they trying to push any more rules in the MLB this year?
I don't think this year, man. I think automated strike zones coming.
That's next.
I completely agree.
Has there ever been a rule that has not been better for the game?
I have one. I completely agree with the spirit of what you're saying. Like, most of the time, these rules are great and they improve the game. I love the extra inning rule, like you said. The only one I'll say is Major League Baseball with replay. Overall, you have to have replay. The runner sliding a base and being able to get that that's the only thing that I feel like has made the game lesser or whatever.
Which I think they'll change that very quickly, because I agree with you. I heard this when I first heard this argument, and what we're talking about is here when a slider, say, stealing second base, and he slides in safe, the second baseman, shortstop, whatever, is trained to keep their glove on the base runner, and the guy slides, pops up. As he pops up, his foot comes off the bag by this much. You see this much daylight on him. But reminder, he slid in safe, did the play right. All he did was in efforts to try to stop him, just bounced off the bag. By the letter of the rule, you are out, right? Because you're safe on the base, you're off the base, and they've got the glove on you and the tag on you. And this has reared its head, and people used to push it. I used to go like, what? Like, it's by the letter of the law. It's by the letter of the rule. Yeah, he's out. But now I understand that sometimes you can change rules to get more of the spirit of the game. The field did nothing to deserve that out, right? The only thing that the field did, that the position players did, was keep a tag on a man. And yeah, you could say train the base runners to stay on the bag. But it does just feel like it's against the spirit of it. The guy got a good jump, stolen a second, safe, everything. Oh, but his foot popped off for this much, for a fraction of a second. I agree with you. I'm 100%.
It's not just that it's also, we had to sit here and wait 5 minutes while they review something that's so trivial. There's such an easy fix. Those plays, the umpire has to see with their eyes to call it. And if they call it and they see it, great. They called it. And you can review if the umpire got it right, but you can't challenge it yourself. And it would be such an easy solution. no one would even miss it.
Right. I agree. Fully 100% agree. The weird one was when MLB first brought in replay. You remember what it was first brought in for?
Home runs, yeah.
Literally just home runs over the foul pole. It's like, that's all we're getting from it? That was like a decade ago. Pushed against it. They're like, you can use it if it goes over the foul pole or not.
Did they screw it up like two months in? They got it wrong or something?
It's like what's the point of this? This happens once. There's 15 times 162 games played. This happens 15 times a year where it goes around and hooks or whatever. It's like that. It's like, what are we doing?
We can't get Galarraga's perfect game right. But we'll make sure the ball over the foul pole's correct.
Dumb. But listen, rule changes are for the better. Don't always push back against change. And one guy that pushed against change was Bill James. Segue?
Very good segue.
Segue? Yeah. Bill James had a tweet yesterday. Casey, I sent you the tweet if you wanna pop it up on the screen, and I'll get you ready for this. He asked, I think, a question that understandably struck the chord in here in Cincinnati. Cards on the table. You guys know my opinion on the Cincinnati Reds. He asked a simple question, which is, do we think Elly De La Cruz will be good this year? And he put a poll out, and I think the poll normally came back like the percentage was like, yeah, he's going to be pretty good. He's got so many tools that it seems incredibly unlikely that he's going to be good. And then he said, for what it's worth, I think this is, well, the first question is, what are the chances that Elly De La Cruz will actually be good? And then he says, for what it's worth, I think it is long odds. He was bad last year. Media wrote him up like he was great. That's a bad combination. The media rewards bad on-field habits. He could be good, but the odds that he will be Juan Samuel II, which, I'll be honest, I know a lot of baseball. Never knew this guy. He played in like the 80s, the 90s. I looked him up. Had like 200 career home runs, so he wasn't a complete scrub. But know nothing about that guy's background. Bill James, if you don't know who Bill James is, which I imagine some of you guys do not, he is the one that first started writing about sabermetrics. He's called the godfather of sabermetrics. So if you actually go back to the genealogy of where analytics and baseball come from, he was kind of the explosion of it. Branch Rickey, who was the GM of the Dodgers when he got Jackie Robinson, he also was the president of the Pirates and brought in the first Latino player, Roberto Clemente. Doesn't get enough credit for that. But Branch Rickey used to send his stats to Harvard Mathematics and stuff like that and say, hey, how can we use this to benefit us? So that's the birthplace of it. And then Bill James started writing books about, hey, I think we're thinking about the game of baseball wrong, and that's where Moneyball came out. That's all these things. Bill James was brought on the Boston Red Sox in the early 2000s to help them lead to the team that won three World Series in a span of about 10 years. So very successful. Everyone in baseball hated him for about 2 decades, but eventually came around, and that's where we're at today with analytics. You got blocked by him yesterday. What was your reaction to his tweet?
It just felt so unnecessary. I don't know. It was just a weird, like, does Bill James not have better things to do with his time than to
talk about controversial baseball things? The guy that made his career off of saying controversial baseball things?
I don't know. It felt like
Elly was taken astray.
Well, it also felt like Bill was intentionally trying to stroke the fire. That's how I took it.
Did you follow Bill before this?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, now you're not allowed to. But he does this quite a bit, actually. He brings up questions like this about players, and I don't think he's in a front office anymore. I think he might still do some stuff with the Red Sox. No, is he?
I don't think so.
He was with the Red Sox for a long time.
With their World Series, I know he got a ring. And
I think he was there for 2 rings.
Moneyball got that right.
What?
Moneyball got that right.
That's right.
I by the way, I did not know he was still alive. I had no idea that this guy was still alive.
I have no idea.
He's old. Everett says bold take. No, he doesn't have better things to do. He might not. He's a very old man. Very smart, very intelligent. He asked a question that I think we dance around here in this city sometimes too. And it's somewhat divisive here in this city. There's some people go like, hey, Elly did not have a good year last year. Hey, this guy has all the tools. He didn't play well. And then the always pushback is, yeah, he has all this talent. You see it. Throws it 100 across the infield. He's the fastest guy in baseball. Hits the ball 470 feet on the regular. There's going to be development, but the talent is too good there to think that this guy's going to be a middling ball player. And I'm on board with that. You watch Elly De La Cruz, there's few players in Major League Baseball that drop your jaw. Elly does that. So when Bill brings up the question, the media hypes him too much, and he's got bad on-field habits. The media hypes him up because the media is trying to push a narrative of this guy's exciting because he is exciting. When I sit down and watch the Reds, few guys take my eyes, draw the attention of my eyes, like Elly De La Cruz, and have been that way my entire life. I'm not sure there's been a Red my life that have had the attraction that Elly De La Cruz has because of all the things he does on the field. And if Elly struggles this year, I don't think you should push back him there. He's still 21 years old. He's so young. He's got so many talents. He's going to be fine. It seems unlikely that he's just going to bust. It seems actually improbable. It seems like it can't happen when you have that much talent. And it's already shown itself on the baseball field in the first month that he was there. So, Elly De La Cruz, confirmed good ball player from a Cubs fan. What in the hell was Trace talking about with this Caitlin Clark thing earlier today?
Not a clue. I didn't understand what he was saying.
I tuned out. I sent a couple emails. I came back in, and I had no clue what he was talking about.
I think he was trying. I think he was trying to say that she was making it about a man. She was making it like a sexist type of thing. And it maybe should. I don't fully understand. I understand what the coach was saying. And the coach was saying that we play a sport where not a lot of attention is being drawn upon it, usually. And then this year, where a ton of attention has been put on it, we still have to go back and talk about a man that's what she was saying. I think most people came to that conclusion. I don't find offense to it, or I didn't take any offense to it whatsoever. But yeah, I think that's what Trace was trying to say.
Yeah, I saw the clip, and I didn't think necessarily what she said was all that bad. I don't know. Like, listen, women athletes have a chip on their shoulder, and rightfully so, 100%. I believe, because we constantly tell them they are not as good as men. Whether it's true, whether it's wrong, it is objectively true that we tell them that they are not as good as men. So they wear that chip on their shoulder that when an achievement like this happens, Caitlin Clark surpasses Pistol Pete Maravich, all time for scoring. And someone asks, what does it mean that she passes Pistol Pete? And the coach goes, listen, it's past the woman too at one point. I'm not gonna get on anyone for having a chip on their shoulder, because, like I said, women put if you've never seen a college woman college athlete, they put so much time, just as much time as men put in. Truly do. I've watched it for the same terrible Division III school that I went to. These girls working twice as hard. They're doing all the stupid ass fundraising that you have to do when you're a D3 athlete. They're putting just as much time. So when they're constantly told they're not as good, yeah, they're gonna have a chip on their shoulder. And if you're wondering why comments like Iowa's head coach is said, it's because of those reasons. Whether it's true, whether it's wrong, whatever, that's where that soundbite comes from. It's a constantly reaffirming that they are athletes too, and that they should be respected. And if there's any athlete that should be respected, it's Caitlin Clark, because no one has caught the hearts of college women athletics like Caitlin Clark in my lifetime. Certainly, I'm sure there's been others before that, but my lifetime, Caitlin Clark. As I frequently do here on Box Lunch when we get to the end, and I have nothing to talk about. It is nonsense, and I have nothing.
Daily Dozen?
Nothing, but we will do a Daily Dozen today. Have you ever done Daily Dozen, Nick Kirby?
I have not.
The best part of the Daily Dozen that we do here is that somehow like the letters on the screen, you'll see it from over there, and it's hard to see from that chair. But when Casey puts it up on the screen, it's very hard to read the questions from like where I'm sitting, and I'm right here.
Do you have good eyesight?
Should I just pull up the YouTube stream?
Yes.
Well, I'm asking a question. Do you have good eyesight? I have very good eyesight.
I think I'm like.
You wear glasses?
No,
contacts?
I'm like just above the threshold.
Okay.
Because
So
Rita's.
you'll get there.
I'm convinced Rita's.
I will need him at some point. My dad does.
I'm convinced Reed has superhuman abilities, and I think he can see for 2 miles away. Because if I showed people what it looked like on this screen and what he's reading, it's literally impossible. I want Nick Kirby to try to read it because it can't be done.
All right, here we
It's
go.
gonna be hard with the glares and stuff from where you're at.
NFL. Is that NBA?
Oh no! That's the easy part. Kirby, do you want to start with TV, movies, music, snacks, MLB, NBA, NFL, cars? What category?
MLB, obviously.
MLB, obviously.
Yep.
All right, Kirby, try to read this from your seat on the
Okay.
TV.
MLB.
Yep. I clicked it.
It's frozen.
Oh,
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 No.
oh, oh,
Oh.
oh.
Oh. Hey. Hey.
Is this
Hey, guys.
like the?
It's trivia. It's just trivia.
Does everyone get the same one every day?
Yes.
Okay.
So you try to
What
get
am I
on-
trying to say? The baseball reference?
Immaculate Grid.
I don't know why that.
I haven't done the Immaculate
I haven't
Grid
done it
in
forever.
It was so
years.
fun and
All right. Can you read this?
Can you read that?
no chance.
Zero.
Reliever Bobby Jinks totaled 173 saves and made 2 All-Star teams while playing for this American League team from 2005 to 2010. Nick Kirby. I know this
I'm
one.
so bad at this.
Bobby
2005.
Oh, you don't
Chicago,
remember
Chicago
big-
White Sox. Chicago White Sox.
Chicago White Sox. You don't remember big fat Bobby
I
Jinks?
can barely read it on the YouTube stream.
White Sox. All right, let's go NFL. After totaling less than 1,500 yards in 7 seasons with the San Francisco 49ers, this tight end totaled over 4,100 yards and 26 touchdowns in his first 5 seasons with the Tennessee Titans from 2013 to 2017.
Crazy. I just he was recently brought up in conversations. I believe this is Delaney Walker.
It is Delaney Walker. That's correct.
Ooh.
I don't know why he was on.
I don't
social media
remember
as
him
of
at
late, but-
all in San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, he had
Exactly.
1,500 yards in 7 seasons. There he is, Delaney Walker. All right, let's do
TV. I want
You
TV. I don't
You want TV?
Yeah, please.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus had the lead role as a divorced mom and gym owner in this CBS sitcom from 2006 to 2010. I know 2 Julia Louis-Dreyfus shows,
What?
Veep and Seinfeld. Other than that, I'm out. Anyone in the chat know this?
I know the show. Like I've watched a few of the episodes. I don't know the name of it though. I know exactly what this is.
I have
no clue.
I didn't know she was. Let the chat say something.
Did it have her name in it?
Was she the main?
Not. She was Christine. Something. Is it like Life of Christine or something? Like that?
Yeah.
Just
Type
type
in-
in Christine. Type in Christine.
I've
Yep.
never heard of this ever.
Tine. The New Adventures.
It
of
was
Old
terrible.
The New Adventures of
Yep.
Old Christine. That's
Yep.
it. Shout out Molly.
Molly, good one.
All right, let's go.
Blackmore, good one.
Snacks and candy. Need a moment has been a reoccurring phrase used in commercials for what chocolate bar brand? Anyone? I know this.
I'm gonna put a guess out there. I'm gonna guess Twix.
You know what?
Snickers, right?
Nope. Kit Kat.
Damn. I was gonna say Kit Kat.
Yeah, it's Kit Kat.
It is not Kit Kat.
Oh no!
Was it Twix?
Was I right?
I think you were right. Was it Twix?
Need a moment, grab a Snickers.
No,
Right?
that's cure your hungry. It's
Cure your
You're not
hunger.
you when you're hungry.
you're
Who's
not
that
you when
one?
you're hungry. It was.
Oh
not Kit
no!
Kat.
You were so confident.
I was so confident. All right, give me another one. Along with winning 4 NBA titles with the Bulls, Steve Kerr won his 5th title as a player while coming off the bench for what team in the 2000s? That's the San Antonio Spurs.
Oh, it's Twix.
I was right.
It is Twix.
So I was right.
Oh my god!
Oh, we were both wrong. I was so.
We're both wrong.
I'm not getting.
I
another
was
one
right.
Wrong. I'm not getting another one wrong.
I was right.
In 2009, this famous singer dropped her 27th career top 10 hit, "Obsessed," a song that critics said was aimed at Eminem after he had negatively referenced her in multiple songs. That would be Mariah Carey. Why you so obsessed with me? Casey. Or Mariah. There you go.
How are you spelling it?
This might be the best part of this.
Movies. David Spade voiced the lead character, Cusco, A pampered and arrogant
Emperor's
18-year-old.
New Groove.
Yeah, the Incan Empire. That'd be Emperor's New Groove, correct.
I've gotten 2 of these. One of them Reed didn't use. We got it wrong.
I did say Kit Kat like Elliot was stupid. I'm sorry. Since 1985, the Sonata has been the mid-size car model. That'd be Hyundai.
Hyundai.
My bad. I apologize.
HUN.
Yep.
No, it's not HUN.
HY.
HYUN.
Kevin James.
And Brad Pitt. Good. We would have got a 9 out of 9 if I wasn't such an arrogant
So
prick.
pompous.
Double dip. Twix.
No!
We got it right.
Oh, we did get it right.
Yeah, it was right.
It says 1 incorrect.
Yeah, if you got it wrong, we got 9 correct though. It said 9 correct, 1 incorrect.
Okay.
Reed confirms smug and pompous. Yes, I was very smug and pompous about that one. But yeah, guys, I wish you best on your trip. I wish you the best. We got a full 2.5 hours of Chatterbox content today. Please check in every day. I would love, as I am going to meander through these 2-hour shows for the next 9 days, I would love if you guys checked in for a little bit. We might have a guest host. I'm gonna tease that.
Ooh.
One of these days. A guest
Any
host.
hints?
No, I'm not gonna give you hints. Just
Wow.
a guess. Just a guess.
Okay.
It's gonna be a
They want an
surprise.
immaculate grid with Kirby.
Ooh,
Oh, I'm so bad at this though.
Can we do a quick immaculate grade before we leave?
sure.
Casey, is that okay?
It's up to Casey.
I have to go home and I have to get everything finished. It's all packed. I have to also deposit that money I got last week that I have
You
yet.
still haven't deposited it?
I don't get home until 6:30.
Do you not have a bank that you can deposit it through the ATM?
No, I can't deposit. There's 4 million singles in there. You can't deposit that many bills.
Oh, that's right.
So like Saturday I worked and I didn't get home.
Do you have a
till
local bank, or like you can go during bank hours if there's one here in town?
You're not just gonna take all that cash with you in a bag?
No, I was thinking about it. Taking it to Vegas. They'll accept it. Money's good there. Let's do.
Don't ride the bus with that.
Let's do Braves Marlins.
Who you got?
Omar Infante.
Say it again.
Omar.
Did he? Or am I?
Did Jared Saltamakia? Did he play for the either of those teams?
He played for the Rangers.
Braves. Hold on, I can think of one.
What is it?
Dan
Braves
Ugla.
Marlins?
Yeah.
Dan Ugla. I don't know
Yeah,
if that's
Dan
Dan
Ugla.
Ugla.
Dan Ugla.
I don't know if that's
Dan
a-
Ugla's a good one.
Dan what?
Ugla, right there, second one.
His name is Dan Ugla.
Take Texas. Take the Rangers. Played catcher. You ready for this one? Yorvit Torrealba.
Oh.
Y-O-R. The second guy. Yorvit Torrealba. 0.5%. Good cat. Good call.
Give me Alejandro Kirk. Do you think that'll be too popular?
What about, did Delgado play catcher for the Blue Jays, or was that too late in his career? Delgado caught when he first got in the league, but I don't. Do Carlos Delgado Blue Jays catcher? Hell yeah.
What's the percent on that? 2?
2. People forget that he was a catcher.
I had no idea.
473 home runs. People forget.
Yeah,
how
he
good-
had four runs in a game. It wasn't him and Scooter Jeanette, Josh Hamilton, like the last 3 to do it.
Think so. Mike Cameron did it for the Mariners for sure. I want to keep going with the catchers.
Man,
Did
this
Benji Molina play for the Braves?
we already? Oh, Benji Molina played for everyone.
Did Benji Molina?
David Ross played for the Braves.
He did. Put David Ross in there. That's right.
Corky Miller.
Corey Miller would be a good
I think
Put
every Reds catcher played for the Braves at one.
Corky Miller. Switch to this answer. Switch it to Corky.
Corky played for the Braves.
That's what they're saying.
That's what you said.
No, well, that's what Alex Wallace said. 0.2%, baby.
There we
Alex.
go. I mean, I know Ivan Rodriguez played for the Marlins and the Rangers. That's one. That's got to be probably the highest one.
Blue Jays.
Jorge Cantu might have played for both.
Can I do a Reed Mouse homer one? Go Rangers 2000 career hits. Sammy Sosa.
What?
He had 2,000 career hits, and he played for the Rangers
When did he play for the Rangers?
at the beginning and the end of his career. He was drafted by George W. Bush. Came up, played, traded to the White Sox, traded to the Cubs, then came back, played 1 year for the Orioles, got traded for Mike Fontenot, and then finished his career, hit 600 home run.
Did
His
Edwin,
600th home
did
run.
Edwin Encarnacion get 2,000 hits?
No.
No.
Derek Lee.
Paul Molitor did.
Derek Lee get 2,000 hits? No.
Derek Lee got 2,000 hits?
No, I said did he? I don't.
Put Paul Molitor. Let's just do an easy one. Just do Paul Molitor for Blue Jays 2,000 hits. Paul, right there. Top one. Braves 2,000 hits. I mean, there's so many Braves you can
Chipper
choose.
Jones.
There's so many.
Mark Teixeira. Did he?
What about like a guy like Fred McGriff? Would that get a low score?
I don't know. Do you think Mark Teixeira got it? Because Mark Teixeira would be lower.
Then Fred McGriff?
Well, yeah, I mean, Mark Teixeira wasn't like known as a Brave. That's what I'm thinking.
Are you saying Nord?
Jorge Cantu for Rangers Marlins.
Say it again.
Jorge Cantu.
Who'd you have? Jorge Cantu? Jorge. J-O-G-O-E. J-O-R-G-E.
J-O-G.
R-G-E. Jorge.
You got. Well, I'm getting two different. Okay.
Then space Cantu. C-A.
If you type your Jorge C, you're probably going to come right up. There you go.
I can't think of a Blue Jay Marlin.
Ooh, 0.9. There we go.
Blue Jay Marlin.
Did Brandon Phillips get 2,000 hits?
Did A.J. Burnett pitch for the Blue Jays?
Yes, AJ Burnett did. Did he pitch for the Marlins?
Did he not? Yeah, he pitched for the Marlins.
I don't remember pitching for Marlins, but I remember pitching for the Blue Jays.
Josh Johnson's a good one.
Oh, yeah?
Josh Johnson is a good one. Jorge Reyes.
So there's got to be a red that pitched for both of them.
Hanley Ramirez, right? Didn't Hanley go up there?
At the end of his career? He went up to Boston.
Because you remember that Marlins team in 2012 was hyped, and then they traded everyone at the deadline.
Yeah,
'cause
Hanley
they
came
sucked.
up with the Marlins.
Yeah.
I don't remember if he went up to Toronto. He went to Boston at the end of his
Mark
career.
Burley also played for both teams. That's right. Put Josh Johnson.
Who the hell is Josh Johnson?
Josh Johnson's a good one. Josh Johnson
Was a stud.
like had a 2-year
decade ago.
where he was
Yeah.
like
I'm
one of the
just-
top pitchers in baseball.
Assuming you're talking about this millennia.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
And then just put.
Josh Johnson.
They're
Just
saying
put Fred
Brandon
McGriff.
Phillips for the Braves.
Did he have 2,000 hits?
Let's look at
He
it.
played long enough that you'd think he'd get there.
He didn't walk, so I mean, you know.
He did.
Brandon
Phillips?
Yeah.
2029.
Good score. Good score.
That's a great pick, Nate.
Good one, Nate.
You don't remember Josh Johnson? He was.
I
He
don't
was.
know who I remember the football quarterback that played for the Bengals.
He had a.
Did he start an All-Star game?
He was fifth in Cy Young voting. He had a 2.3 in 2010. Had an ERA plus. Had 200 strikeouts. He was a stud. He had a 24 career WAR and only like an 8 seasons. That's pretty good.
Poor guy, his name doesn't even come up first when he put in Josh Johnson. And
Had a 13 WAR over a 2-year stretch.
yeah, he was like I don't know. I'm trying to think who now he would be.
It'd be like if Sandy Alcantara
Yeah.
kind of just fizzled out. Like
yeah,
he-
that's a good comp.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'd
for
be-
kind of
it'd
where
be-
he was viewed.
who had the bigger fizzle out? Josh Johnson or Brandon Webb just never pitching again after. Brandon Webb was the best pitcher in the MLB for like a 4-year stretch.
Yeah.
Got hurt on opening day, never pitched again.
Pitchers are weird how there's just so many of those guys that were, viewed as the best in the sport or one of the top 5 and just nothing.
They come and go.
Can I ask one baseball question before we leave?
Yeah.
Just one.
I'm sorry for the Twix thing.
That's okay. I forgive you. I don't think I've given a good track record for you to believe me on intellectual things. But thank you very much, Nick. I saw this on Twitter. I think I won't give the name of him, but he was basically saying the Reds not offering Luis Castillo $20 million was a joke. If you had to look back at one thing the Reds did wrong over this rebuild, this new age rebuild here, would you say they should have signed or brought back Luis Castillo?
Well, you got to get rid of Noel V. Marte and Edwin Arroyo if you want to go
Correct,
down that
but would
road.
you have done it? Would you?
No.
Looking back on it now.
No, I think that, that's a great contract for the Mariners, but you cashed in and got 2 players,
Very good players,
for 12 years at cost controlled. So, no, I don't think that's wrong. I mean, I think the Reds have let some people go. Maybe I think Joe Boyle could turn out to be. I wouldn't really fault him for that, but that could be one. Dory Moretta,
Yeah.
could be another one. I mean, I think they've,
What about Wade Miley? Was the Wade Miley one the most egregious?
Wade Miley made like 10 starts the next year, though. Like, he didn't even pitch for that Cubs team.
Did not.
So it's I think that was a cheap move by the Reds, no question about it. But
The Wade Miley move made sense until they got Mike Minor. Then you're just like, and then you're just like, what the hell's going on?
But again, none of those moves changed 2022.
No, 100%.
You were tanking in 2022. Let's call it what it is. So really, if people want to be mad about Mike Minor, be mad about Mike Minor. If you want to be mad about, none of that mattered. It didn't change the trajectory at all. I think maybe if you want to go back, the worst would probably be the 2021, because especially with that in 2022 you're going to tank. They should have put more investment into 2021. They should have paid to keep Raisel Iglesias. They should have maybe bought another free agent for 1 year or something like that, gone more in 2021, and then pull out in 2022.
Where does that trade rank? Raisel Iglesias for No Way Ramirez. That's one of the worst trades of all time.
I don't know if it's one of the worst trades of all time because it was a salary dump, and Raisel Iglesias wasn't worth much more than $10 million. When I view a bad trade, it's getting rid of a player and they providing way more value than their contract. That's how I would view, one of those trades. Like if Joe Boyle becomes a star pitcher for the A's at making $750,000, that is a way bigger deal than getting rid of someone that's already making $10 million. You have to always factor the money into it.
All right. In the year of our Lord, 2006, the Cincinnati Reds went 80-82.
Ooh.
They led the NL Central for like 2.5 months, but they ended up going under 500. How many Cincinnati Reds can you name from the 2006 team?
Holy crap. I don't know. That was I really got back into my Reds fandom in 2008. I was away in college in 2006, but I'll try.
Aaron Harang?
Aaron Harang was the ace of the team.
Bronson
Arroyo was probably the best pitcher. He threw the most innings that year.
Bill Bray?
I don't think he was there yet.
Bill Bray threw 29 games,
Oh, he was?
27 innings.
2006?
Oh, Bill Bray was there earlier than people think.
23-year-old Bill Bray. Do you guys want to go through some hitters?
No, okay, let me try. 2006 was Votto, right?
No.
Nope.
Votto 2007.
Who was the starting first baseman?
Scott Hatterberg?
Scott Hatterberg is correct.
Oh,
Who was the
shit.
starting catcher?
David Ross or Paul Blanco?
It was David Ross. David Ross hit 20 home runs that year. Starting second baseman?
Was that Orlando Cabrera at shortstop?
Brandon Phillips?
B-Phil was the starting second baseman.
Orlando Cabrera at short?
No, Cabrera was 1 year 2010.
Who was the starting shortstop?
Gonzalez?
It might have been Alex Gonzalez.
It's not Alex Gonzalez.
Fuck.
It wasn't Jeff Keppinger.
This is a notable name. He made an all-star team. One-time all-star. One-time Silver Slugger.
Felipe Lopez?
Felipe Lopez is
Holy
correct. Starting third baseman.
Edwin? Was he there yet?
Edwin is correct.
Yeah.
Edwin is correct. The outfield's pretty easy. Left field.
Griffey Dunn.
Yep. Left field, center field. Right fielder.
Bruce was the same time
No,
Votto,
not
right?
Dimitri Young. He was...
Guy played 12 years in the bigs. 900 career hits. Had an OPS over 100. OPS plus.
Willie Pena?
Was not Willie Moe. Willie Moe, did he play on this team? Willie Moe did not play on this team.
Wow. Was it a stopgap player for the Reds?
It was not. This guy was the future of the team. At one
Austin
point.
Kearns.
It was Austin Kearns.
Kearns.
It was
Austin
Austin
Fuck.
You had 2 utility players on this team. that played over 120 games.
Pollyannish?
No, he wasn't there yet. It's he was a really bad shortstop. Why is his name like a terrible hitter? Right? Is that is it a shortstop?
One's an outfield, infield hybrid.
Ryan
Mostly
Friel?
played Ryan Friel is one. Played 132 games. The other was middle-aged, like he was an older. He was a bat. Played shortstop at his old team. Actually hit 23 home runs this year for the Reds.
He had 23 home runs.
Yep, utility guy. Played 120 games. Batted
Rich
300.
Aurelia?
Batted 300. Rich Aurelia. That's
Who?
correct. Rich Aurelia.
Who the hell is that?
Rich Aurelia. He played.
really
He played
good
on those
at run
Giants
with the
teams.
Giants.
Yeah, he played on those Giants team that went to the World Series.
I've never heard of him ever.
We'll keep it going.
Pitchers?
Also, some other guys to note, because I'm not going to make you go through this. Jason LaRue played on this team. Javier Valentin. Royce Clayton. You had a 36-year-old shortstop, Royce Clayton. Krista Norfia, Todd Hollinsworth, Creighton McCracken, Ray Almedo, Norris Hopper, Dwayne Wise, Tony Womack, Juan Castro.
Tony Womack was on that.
All right, so you named 2 starting pitchers. Can you name the rest?
Was Weathers on this roster?
Weathers was the closer.
Yeah.
There we go.
12 saves.
Cordero replaced him, moved him back.
Daniel Ray Herrera wasn't on this team, was he?
Daniel Ray Herrera was not on this team.
Damn.
I don't think he debuted till like
Lincoln?
2000.
Mike Lincoln?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mike Lincoln.
He was close to there.
No.
No?
No Mike Lincoln.
Fuck. Oh, shit. Sorry. I forgot this was
You want
for
to do
everybody.
starting pitchers? You already did Bronson Arroyo and Aaron Harang. One of these guys had a long career in the NL Central.
This
Outside-
pitching was so bad that year, right? It was like this is what killed them.
One of these guys had a 16-year career. Most recently pitched for the Texas Rangers in 2016, but he was known. His best years were in the NL Central, not on the Reds. Kyle Loesch.
Oh yeah.
Kyle Loesch. We'll go with the southpaw. You had a 30-year-old southpaw, soft-tossing guy. This was at the end of his career. He came over from the Twins. Eric Milton. I don't know if you guys remember Eric
Yeah.
Milton.
I remember
There's
the
a whole
name.
meme about him.
There are 2 other relief pitchers that are pretty notable relief pitchers. And then we'll
Todd
end this.
Coffey on this team?
Todd Coffey was the setup man. Yes, pitched in 81 games.
Nice.
Actually, it was pretty good. 78 innings, 3.5 ERA, and then the other one pitched for the Reds for a while.
Jared Burton.
No Jared Burton. He didn't actually pitch for the Reds for a while, but he pitched in the MLB for 15 years. Most recently in 2018. Played his first 5 years for the Reds.
Really?
And he's still pitching in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea.
Matt Belisle.
Oh yeah.
Matt-
He was I think of him as a starter with the Reds though.
Did he start for the Reds?
He started in
2000. The next year, he started 30 games. That was
Yeah.
the only year of his career where he started. In his career, he started 44 games.
he was
30
really
of them.
bad as a starter, and the Reds
Yeah.
tried to
5.3 ERA.
Yeah.
Not good. All right, guys, that was fun.
I gotta look at one because there was one player, one of the most fun obscure Reds ever. I think he played in one game for. No, he played more games than I thought. Esteban Yan. Esteban Yan was on this team.
My 2 favorite Reds of all time were D'Angelo Jimenez. I loved D'Angelo Jimenez from like the 2003 Reds, and then Joe Randa. Whenever we play this, me and my friends get together and we just start naming random Reds, and those are the first 2 I always throw out: D'Angelo Jimenez, Joe Randa.
Joe Randa, welcome to Cincinnati. Opening day. All right, I gotta read one thing. NL All-Star pitchers from 2010 that pitched in the game. Ubaldo Jimenez started the game.
Right?
Josh Johnson.
Can I give one? Because I know the answer. I think Arthur Rhodes was one, right?
No.
Wasn't he in that one?
He made the game but didn't pitch.
Okay.
2010, we would have seen a young Clayton Kershaw make the All-Star game.
No, well, he didn't pitch. I'm just going with the guys that pitched. Hung Chick-Koo.
What?
I don't even remember this guy.
Yeah.
Heath Bell.
Heath Bell, good.
Roy Halladay. There's your one really good one.
Right.
Matt Capps.
Matt Capps,
Adam
that's
Wainwright,
right.
Brian Wilson, and Jonathan Broxton. That was the all-star pitchers
Broxton.
in 2010.
There were some big boys in that game. between Matt Capps and Jonathan Broxton was a big fella.
And Heath Bell.
Heath Bell was big too. I forgot about him. Yeah, those are some big guys.
The golden age of big man relievers.
That was back in the golden age of SportsCenter too.
Yeah.
Where baseball still had a pretty good grip on stuff that people watched. And I remember I would watch SportsCenter all the time as a kid. And right around the trade deadline, they would make such a big do about whoever was on the trading block that was pitching that night. I remember Ubaldo Jimenez throwing once again. They'd flash his stats up there. I swear to God, in 2009, CC Sabathia pitched every game for the Milwaukee Brewers. When he got, every time I turned on SportsCenter, CC Sabathia's thrown another shutout. I think CC Sabathia came over at the deadline, finished third in Cy Young voting.
Yeah, 2008,
Was it 08 or 09?
I think.
Was it 08?
Yeah.
Because Manny Ramirez came to the Dodgers that year, too, and finished fourth in MVP.
There's actually like a little 30-minute MLB documentary on CC coming to the Brewers. I've watched it recently. It's actually pretty fascinating.
Right.
Yeah, his run with the Brewers is like just legendary stuff. Pitching every 3 days. That's why you thought you saw him every day. He was pitching like every 3 days for like a month.
It was nuts.
Literally
it was nuts.
put them on his back.
I need to find this Manny Ramirez. Manny Ramirez finished. He played like 80 games in the National League, and he finished fourth. In 2008, I'm looking at NL MVP voting. He played 53 games for the Dodgers and finished fourth in MVP voting, ahead of Lance Berkman, David Wright, Carlos Delgado hit 40 home runs. Nuts.
You're talking about like baseball tonight in SportsCenter.
Yes.
I miss that because it forced you to watch baseball highlights. Like now it's so available to you. Like I'll just watch what I need to watch.
That's right.
But I won't like I don't watch Shohei Ohtani highlights because I'm not watching it to see other highlights and things like that.
I've pushed this. When the Masters come around, the Masters have this great web browser. They have this great app.
Oh, yeah.
That you can click. Like, I want to see every shot from Elliott Rearing, Nick Kirby, yada, yada, yada. And it will literally cue every shot they have. And if you missed, like if you went out, did something for 2 hours, and you came back, it would literally show you shot after shot of all the players that you tagged. I would love if the MLB app, the at-bat app, could do the same thing. To where I want to see every single Shohei Ohtani at-bat in its entirety. I want to see if he's pitching. I want to see all that. And I can cue. Like, I want to see every Ronald Acuna at-bat, Shohei Ohtani at-bat. And I would sit around for hours, and I would do that. If they would give me that at my availability. That would be fantastic. I would also like if MLB app could give me push notifications of certain players that I care about. Like, you guys always make fun of me about the Patrick Mahomes thing, about how I'm like the guy that has to tell you that Patrick Mahomes is great. I remember when Shohei Ohtani came over, I was the one going, this guy's going to be great. And everyone, I don't know why people are so negative. Like when Shohei Ohtani came over, like, dude, it's not going to work out. He's going to be terrible. He's not going to work. He's going to be great. And then like all of a sudden, like right off the rip, he was fantastic. And I just don't know why people are so negative. That was a side tangent about, I just don't get why people don't want to see great things. Same thing's going on with Caleb Williams. Now, Caleb Williams might be a dud of a human being, and we find that out as time progresses. But I just don't know why you don't want to see him succeed. But I digress. That was Box Lunch. That was fun.
Last one.
Okay.
I want to see if Nick Kirby can get it.
Oh, man.
The Reds. By the way, I forgot how good Jonathan Broxton was for the Reds. He was unbelievable. We traded
Sean Marshall, too.
Sean Marshall. Well, he was the DL.
Cubby.
He was the IL king. Sean
Cubby.
Marshall was the IL king.
He was great in 2012.
What was that
though.
trade? That was a trade from the Cubs.
Travis
to the Reds.
Wood.
Was that how we got
I
Travis
love
Wood?
Travis Wood.
I was obsessed with Travis Wood. I'm sorry.
No,
Travis
I love
Wood
Travis
played
Wood
left.
too.
Travis Wood played. We used to do this thing with Joe Madden with Travis Wood, where Travis Wood would come in against. Say you'd have a lefty, righty, lefty.
Love that.
He would come in, throw Travis Wood against the lefty.
Yep.
Put Travis Wood out in left field. So he'd face the lefty. We'd put in, Carl Edwards Jr. to face the righty. Travis Wood would go out to left field. I think he caught a ball one time. Like they hit the ball to him. And then they'd throw him back in then one batter later and let him face against the lefty again. Phenomenal.
That's incredible.
Wouldn't that be great? Shouldn't the Dodgers, like when Shohei can pitch again? Because I don't know if we'll see Shohei Ohtani throwing 160 innings anymore. because of 2 arm injuries. It makes sense to have him be a relief pitcher. Wouldn't it be so smart of the Dodgers to have him sit out in right field? Now it doesn't make any sense because you'd be forfeiting DH, but you could have him out in right field and just throw him when the game gets tight, right? You bring him in, 5th inning, pitcher's at the end of his rope, 2nd and 3rd. Hey, let's gas up Shohei. Let's throw Shohei for an inning. And then you throw him out in right field. You bring him back in the 9th. Probably not good for the stress of the arm, but it'd be really fun if they did that like in a postseason.
I never understood why they didn't do that more with right-left relievers late in the game. Like why a team never tried something like that.
Right. Put
Like
him out
you
in
could
left field.
your 8th and 9th inning just like literally have, if you have 2 guys that could play it decently, but I guess risking injury is probably the biggest thing. I'm sorry.
Jonathan Broxton was traded for 2 players to be named later.
Oh,
Name them. By the way, both of them had a negative WAR. It
Yeah,
contributed
I think
nothing.
this trade was a salary dump for the Dodgers mostly. Like when they traded for Sean Marshall, they had to actually give up. So, did either of these players play in the majors?
They did. They both played for the Reds.
They both played for the Reds in the majors.
Horrible players. One of them, Kevin Shackelford, and the other, Barrett Aston.
This was when they sent him to the Brewers.
Barrett
Yes.
Aston played for the Reds.
Barrett Aston.
He actually played in a major league game for the
Oh,
Reds.
yeah, he played in 6 games. It's horrible. Each game was worse than the next.
Wow, I remember Shackelford. I do not remember the other.
This is why baseball's the best, because we can just sit around and talk about random players. And you can do this in a lot of sports. For some reason, football, it doesn't work as well. You can do it for basketball, like just random basketball. Remember this guy? Remember when this guy played for UC? Remember this guy that played for the Pacers? He played a couple years. You can do this with baseball for hours on top of ends. But going back to trading positions in and out, every time I do a fantasy draft in MLB The Show, I take Shohei Ohtani, and I just want it so bad. The game hasn't figured it out, but you can do this. I start Shohei Ohtani. He throws 6 innings, whatever. I put him out in left field. I then get the game to where it's a save situation, and I bring him back in. And I want the box score to read as follows. Shohei Ohtani gets the win. Shohei Ohtani gets the save. But they don't do it. But you can do that. Like, that is a thing that can happen in baseball. You can throw 6 innings. They throw you out in left field. You then come close the door. That would count as a win and a save. But God darn it, they don't let it happen. And I hate it. I hate it. Just let it happen, MLB The Show. Figure it out. Gosh darn it.
And shout out, what do we got? Matt McClain news. Nate, shout out Nate. Matt McClain is healthy. He's ready to roll. Should be playing in games this week.
You just did time for us.
Per Charlie Goldsmith.
did
That's
time
right.
for-
That's right,
Hey
baby.
Charlie, where was that scoop last night, brother?
Explain I saw you retweet something about a Charlie Goldsmith tweet and a Gordo tweet.
I really try not to bash Gordo. I really try hard not to. There is a clear, and I don't know if it's because he's been in this business for as long as he has, and he knows what gets bait. Because he is the clickbait king. He is the clickbait king. Whatever you like think, whatever you want to hear, whatever your dream, you're the best case scenario and the worst case scenario. Gordon will have that in a tweet to make you look at it. And then we'll have Charlie Goldsmith, who does actual reporting, and he'll put the whole quote there. And then you see him, and it's like, one definitely has a motive. One of these people has a motive that they're trying to direct a narrative and trying to get eyeballs. The other person's just doing their job as a reporter, a great job, mind you, and they are putting the whole quote. So what happened was everybody freaked out on, was it Friday? That Nick Lodolo was hurt. He wasn't feeling good. They're going to have surgery again. And it's because Gordo was the first one to tweet it, and he cut up David Bell's entire quote and put it almost selectively. He selectively edited it to get the worst parts of it. And then you have Charlie Goldsmith put like the whole paragraph. It's like, I don't know, 15 lines of this whole quote. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's definitely not what's happening. Charlie just said the whole quote. So it became, again, a Bash Gordo night. And it seems like that's going to be a war all year long. It's just going to be a war with Gordo and the Reds fans.
How?
And he's a Cubs slurper. And that's what he is.
Would it not be the funniest thing that I could possibly do on this show? If in the 2 weeks that I'm hosting this, instead of bringing on Charlie, I bring on Gordon Wittenmeyer.
Please.
And you just get the side-by-side of me and Gordo up here.
I can see the screenshots now.
Oh, my God, it'd be fantastic.
You shouldn't talk about the Reds either. It should just be Cubs.
Golly, that would be incredible.
When we play the Cubs, have him up. Oh, my God. When we play the Cubs for the first time this season, have him on.
But it's like, hey, you remember that? Remember how good they were back in 2015, 2016, that era?
I try not to bash on Gordo because I do think at some point the fans just like they want everything to be nice and this is no knock on John Sadak, but that's kind of what John Sadak does, where it's everything's nice and beautiful and everybody's good, everybody's really great, and I'll never say a bad thing about anybody. Gordo kind of keeps it a little bit real. Now, what Gordo does is that he extends the truth, and I don't know if that's the way to go about business, but that's certainly the way he does. And I think the fan base.
I would love to see his numbers in the Cincinnati Enquirer because his stuff gets shared more than anyone else.
Oh, yeah.
You fall for it every time.
Every single time. I thought that was incredibly disingenuous what he did. Would you agree? Yeah. Would you agree that there was definitely some misleading facts?
It was misleading, but is he saving the Enquirer? I mean, that's also what you have to weigh into this.
Is he saving the Enquirer? Oh man, that's good. That's good. You guys ever go on Baseball Reference? And I know we're just
now we're just shooting. I love it.
Yeah, now we're just bull crapping. You guys ever go on thanks. Baseball Reference and you pull up, like I was just looking at Jonathan Broxton, you go down to the bottom and it gives like similar players. And it's just a rabbit hole of like, oh, how similar was Jonathan Broxton to Keith Falk? Oh, yeah, Keith Falk was pretty good. He played on that 2004 Boston Red Sox team. Click on them. Man, Bill Mueller was great for them. He was great. What was his career like? Oh, he played on the 1998 Indians? I had no idea.
Baseball Reference is the best.
It's fantastic that you just go down the line. You just go down the line, one by one. You keep throwing stuff at me. Like, I'm going to pull up Jamer Candelario. And who is his similar player? Like, who's the most close player?
Casey, who's the most close player to Jamie?
Trevor, you ready for this?
It's Mike Moustakas.
You ready for the number one? These are the names comparable to Candelario. On the list in the top 10, Derek Dietrich's number 7. Gregory Polanco's on there.
That tracks, yeah.
You know the number one player is, though, Trevor Plouffe.
Who the hell is Trevor Plouffe?
He's big on no free ads on yeah,
he's on like Barstool or John Boy or
something.
something.
John Boy.
Yeah.
Talking
Trevor
baseball.
Plouffe played in the MLB for 10 years from 2010 to 2018. Hit 24 home runs with the Twins twice. All right. Now we're done. Now we're just bull crapping. See you guys tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. These guys will be on the road. I'll see you tomorrow on Off the Bench.
Well, we might see you tomorrow too then.
Yeah, you're going to have to call it. You guys got to throw me a bone here a little bit. You got to throw me some sort of bone here. I'm struggling. We'll see you tomorrow on Off the Bench. See you guys.